to episode 7 of Fantasy Warfare 2.0 here on Reasonable Wrestling Fans. Is it 6? I don't know.
I think we just said
6. Yes, it's episode 6 because we're at an interesting point here. Me and Kevin Hawk both have 2 victories apiece, so this matchup in particular will either decide a 3rd victory for Kevin Hawk and a championship win, or we will be tying it up with 2 victories apiece if Kevin Hawk loses to Thomas Wolf today.
And then next week we'll figure out something.
Yeah, we'll do some sort of triple threat variation in order to crown our first champion. For today's episode, we have ourselves a cage match.
Yeah, as you can see, these 2 are locked in. There's no getting out.
Yes. And Thomas Wolf won the chance to go first, but allowed Kevin Hawk to choose first. So Kevin Hawk, who is our first combatant in today's cage match?
I picked Pentagon Jr.
And Thomas Wolf, who is Pentagon Jr.'s opponent?
The wrestling machine, Kurt Angle.
All right, and we're being specific. This is Kurt Angle prior to TNA. So his TNA career does not count in this debate, but we are doing today's Pentagon Jr., all the things that we've seen on Lucha Underground, and any other information that was available online. So, as we did last time...
imaginations.
Yes. As we did last time, this is going to be point counterpoint.
You'll
have a chance for rebuttals, and you'll have time limits. So, since you had the option of going first, would you like to do your opening statement first, or would you like to give that to Kevin Hawk?
I'll give that to Kevin Hawk.
All right, Kevin Hawk, your opening statement. You got to start convincing me on Pentagon Jr. You have 45 seconds.
I like it.
And go.
Right off the bat, I'm just going to say, I think Pentagon Jr. would be highly favored in a cage match because of his aggression and his violence. I mean, if you're not familiar with Pentagon Jr., look up the Ultima Lucha match with Vampiro on Lucha Underground Season 1. That was just so crazy and brutal. And that's kind of what, for me, is a good turning factor in a cage match, is you got to be able to out-violence your opponent because, I mean, if you're trying to escape the cage, perhaps, you're going to have to completely incapacitate your opponent, even more so than you would if you're trying to...
Thomas Wolf, your 45-second opening statement starts now.
Kurt Angle is a wrestling machine. This era, Kurt Angle, is just off of an ECW run, just re-entering a SmackDown run where he took on Rey Mysterio, The Undertaker, and beat those men. Kurt Angle is a favorite in a cage match because he's been in so many cage matches. And sure, he has a mixed bag of win-loss records, but there's one thing that you can't dispute, and you cannot climb a cage with a broken ankle. Kurt Angle is a master submission wrestler, and he knows how to break his opponent down from his experience going all the way back to the Olympics, which he won with a broken freaking neck. How are you going to incapacitate this man to where he can't win a simple cage match?
All right. Well done, gentlemen. All right, we're going to up our time now. So we are going into the first questions. So you'll have 1 minute to answer the question, and then your opponent will have a 30-second rebuttal to your answer. So, since you did your opening statement first, Thomas Wolf, you will start question number 1.
All right.
Now, steel cage match. Hard material. What makes Kurt Angle tough as steel? You have 1 minute starting now.
Kurt Angle is tough as steel because his body has been tempered in steel. He has gone through cage matches, Hell in a Cell matches, which he won. He won the Armageddon Hell in a Cell against 5 of the best wrestlers that WWE had to offer. Well, maybe 4 and Rikishi. No offense to Rikishi, but come on. He is He's been through it all. He's stood the test of time. And at this point in his career, as the wrestling machine, he was better than ever. This man has gone to war with all of the best wrestlers who have come from the Attitude Era. He's battled Stone Cold, The Rock, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane on a few occasions. This man knows how to go in this type of environment better than almost anyone to come out of the WWE, because he can take you to the mat, he can take you to the cage, he can wrestle you any way that you are weakest.
Well done, sir. All right, Kevin Hawk, 30 seconds. Why isn't Kurt Angle tough as steel? Your 30 seconds starts now.
I just have to say it's Kurt Angle's mentality. The way he almost acted like he was invincible and kept going and kept going. His body was breaking down, and WWE was trying to get him to go home and rest and relax, which is one of the reasons why he ended up leaving the company, is he didn't want to be forced into taking time off. And his body was accumulating a lot of different injuries at this point.
Time. Good point.
This
30
is gonna
seconds
sound
is quick.
Yeah, this is going to sound really obvious, but 30 seconds is a lot shorter than a minute.
Almost like it's half as long or something.
Almost. All right.
I'm not be good with fractions though. So.
All right.
Maybe 2/4.
Now, Kevin Hawk, you have 1 minute to tell me why Pentagon Jr. is tough as steel. Your 1 minute starts now.
All right, Pentagon Jr., luchador, right off the bat. Immediately you have to think of how many times these guys jump off the top rope, how many times these guys crash and burn, how tough do they have to be? They have to be toughened up. And, something like that would make it so maybe falling off of a cage, getting pulled down off the side of a cage, or jumping off the top of the cage might not be as aggravating to the body as somebody who's more of a mat wrestling technician. Despite, Kurt does have moments where he does moonsaults and stuff off of cages and usually misses. But that, and then, I feel like in Mexico, your body would be better conditioned because you're wrestling under much hotter weather. And, you just don't get as many of the luxuries as you do being a WWE superstar. So, tougher both physically from the lucha style and, crashing and burning versus also being tougher mentally.
All right. Thomas Wolfe, 30 seconds. Why isn't Pentagon Jr. tough as steel? Your 30 seconds start now.
Kevin Hawk mentioned that Kurt Angle, his mentality wore down his body. I would counter that the lucha style wears down your body much faster than just a never stop mentality. He is someone who hasn't been tested like Kurt Angle has. He is someone who hasn't gone to war as many times as Kurt Angle. And I will always take the reliable veteran over the risky newcomer, especially in a dangerous match like a cage match where you can be pulled off this.
All right. Kevin Hawk, you will begin question number 2. What weakness of Kurt Angle is Pentagon Jr. going to exploit in this cage match? You have 1 minute and it starts now.
I think the obvious would be probably trying to figure out some way to go back to the reoccurring neck injuries of Kurt Angle's career. On top of that, I feel like Pentagon would use his signature arm-breaking maneuver because, it might not be a Kurt Angle weakness, but if he makes a weakness, just like he said that it'd be hard to climb a cage with a broken ankle, it'd also be much harder to climb a cage if you only had one arm to pull yourself up. That being said, I'd have to go back to the neck, and one of Pentagon's signature maneuvers, a package pile driver, is just key to the point of trying to drop somebody on their head and break down their spine. End of story.
All right. We'll let this time limit run out here. And there we go. All right. Thomas Wolfe, 30 seconds. Why isn't that going to help Kurt Angle in this match?
Sure. You mean Pentagon Jr.?
Yeah, Pentagon.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why?
I'm not going to explain why that's not going to help Kurt Angle.
Good.
I did
don't
a good
don't
job.
paint yourself into a corner.
Also, it's
I did a
pretty
pretty good
obvious
job.
why going after his neck won't help him. I
Yeah.
don't think I need to
That's true.
say much there.
30 seconds as to why that's not going to help Pentagon Jr. 30 seconds starts now.
You talk about the reoccurring neck injury. That's the same neck injury that he won the Olympic gold medals with. Kurt Angle is no stranger to pain, but he is the type of guy to fight through it every single time. A pile driver is the same finisher as The Undertaker, who Kurt Angle has made tap out. One of the very few men to make Undertaker tap out. Kurt Angle has done that. Kurt Angle has beaten The Undertaker. Kurt Angle has beaten people who target limbs. Kurt Angle can hit his Olympic slam with
Time.
one arm.
Right. And now, Thomas Wolf, your 1 minute. What weakness of Pentagon Jr. is Kurt Angle going to exploit? Your 1 minute starts now.
Kurt Angle has battled luchadors. Eddie Guerrero counts. Rey Mysterio definitely counts. Kurt Angle's no stranger to this style. He's going to use that experience over Pentagon Jr. to avoid the high-risk moves and take him to the mat where Pentagon Jr. won't be able to wrestle with Kurt Angle. I'm not saying Pentagon Jr. can't mat wrestle. I'm saying he can't mat wrestle a man who won the Olympic gold medals, who beat Brock Lesnar in a shoot wrestling match before a SmackDown taping. Kurt Angle knows the game inside and out. He knows every facet of the game in a way Pentagon Jr. has never experienced before. And this is going to be Pentagon Jr. having to step up to a whole new level in a whole new environment against a whole different type of superstar. Is that about it?
Both of you guys stopped at the same exact time. You're leaving yourselves about 12, 13 seconds left. So, all right, so we're going to stop there. We got a couple seconds before your rebuttal starts, Mr. Kevin Hawk. 30 seconds. Why isn't that going to be a problem for Pentagon Jr.? 30 seconds starts now.
I don't know. Kurt Angle would probably, in almost any situation, out-wrestle Pentagon Jr. if it stayed completely mat-based. But, in that way, it's not gonna... It's the way to win the match. I mean, especially if someone's trying to escape a cage, it could be a pinfall or submission, but, there's going to be distance separated no matter what. So, Kurt Angle's experience, and especially in the mat wrestling experience, is
Time.
30 seconds long. Or a Blue Thunder driver. Blue Thunder Bomb
Blue Thunder Bomb.
driver. The bobber.
Blue Thunder Driver. All right.
Now you can tell which
Final
week
question.
was matched up with.
Question number 3. Kevin Hawk, you have 1 minute. This is a cage match. You got multiple ways of winning. What is Pentagon Jr.'s escape plan? You have 1 minute. It starts now.
Well, escape plan. So escaping the cage is immediately where I think he is better suited than Kurt Angle. I just think luchador style, he's used to climbing up the ropes, climbing with ladders. He's been in cage matches before, so he's not a stranger to being in cage matches. So I think the speed of the luchador style is definitely going to spring him up faster up the cage than Kurt Angle can go. And, especially if he's been, trying to break Kurt Angle's arm or pile drive Kurt Angle onto his head. Kurt Angle's going to slow down. I think, maybe it'd be a tough call to say who's better conditioned at this point. I think Pentagon's younger, so that might go in his favor that he might be better conditioned. And that all adds up to being able to climb and get over the cage faster.
Time. All right. Thomas Wolf, 30 seconds. Is that going to help Pentagon Jr.? 30 seconds starts now.
Absolutely not. We have a Kurt Angle who was at the most violent and vicious of his career. It's not just about wrestling Pentagon Jr. It's about dissecting Pentagon Jr. It's about teaching him not to step in the ring with Kurt Angle. He is going to break his ankle, and then break his other ankle, and then break his arms, and then slam him into the cage. You want to break Kurt Angle's arm? Fine. He'll hit you with an Olympic slam, one-armed, into the cage, off of the cage, through the cage, and then it's a time.
All right, Thomas Wolf, your last chance. 1 minute. what is Kurt Angle's escape plan in this cage match? Your 1 minute starts now.
Kurt Angle is very, very simple. Beat Pentagon till he can't move and escape the cage. Kevin Hawk mentioned that Kurt Angle does a moonsault off the top of the cage and often misses, but my counter argument is that your greatest teacher is your last mistake. Yes, Kurt Angle's made the mistake of going for the big spot and messing up. He knows not to do that again, especially against an apt luchador like Pentagon Jr. He's going to know what Pentagon Jr.'s weakness is and focus on that. Not go and try to out-luchador the luchador. He's going to try to out-wrestle the luchador and break him apart to where Kurt Angle can escape the cage and secure the victory like he's done so many times in his career. It's the same mentality that earned him those gold medals, that earned him the WWE title, that led him to victory against so many of the greats.
Kevin Hawk.
So many of the grape nuts.
Kevin Hawk.
Yes.
Is that escape plan going to work for Kurt Angle? 30 seconds starts now.
Absolutely not, because I've waited a second to bring this in, but Pentagon Jr., what's his slogan? Zero fear, if you translate it to English. Zero fear. So Pentagon Jr. is going to be able to throw himself at Kurt Angle, even after the point of being maybe broken where another man wouldn't be able to get up. Pentagon Jr.'s no fear attitude is just going to maybe take Kurt Angle out of his current comfort zone.
Time. All right. Well, I'm going to take...
All left.
Huh?
Oh.
You
If you were going to right, I was going to left.
Okay. I'm going to take a few moments to look over what has been said
Deliberation time.
and see if I can decide a winner of this cage match. Alright, we're back.
Yeah, Blue Thunder Bomb.
I have deliberated. I've looked through both of your guys' arguments. This is definitely an interesting matchup we have here.
I'd pay to watch it.
Submission specialist, all-around technical wrestler, comparing to the luchador style and the aggressiveness of Pentagon Jr. Aggression is necessary in a match type like this. And after going through both of your guys' arguments for all three questions, this is not the way I expected to go, but I am giving the win and the championship to Kevin Hawk.
I'm almost sad that we're not doing a three-way tiebreaker match.
I wanted to
I want to be able to beat you both at the same time.
I wanted to do it, but I think where you really excelled over the arguments is the first one being what is the weakness going to be? He brought up the fact that Kurt Angle doing the moonsaults are missing, and your argument saying that he wouldn't do it. Well, he's done it so many times. Why wouldn't he do it again? It's a Kurt Angle thing. You expect it to happen because he does continue to do it. And then
Try to shine this.
in the third, the escape plan.
Fuck.
This whole thing's falling apart. The escape plan. I'm
Escape.
surprised you both went with escaping the cage. I'm surprised you didn't go with a submission victory for Kurt Angle.
Okay.
But I think the overall was that the zero fear. You really you had that, like, Pentagon Jr. is going to put his everything into this, and there's nothing that's going to stop him from doing more damage. Whereas Kurt Angle, he's going to try and dissect, but if he's so focused on that, is he going to be able to combat that no nonsense, I'm just going to tear you apart style? So Pentagon Jr. wins the cage match, and Kevin Hawk is our first ever Fantasy Warfare champion. So from this point on, we're going to be doing just different matchups. We're going to be doing contender type matches to decide who will face Kevin Hawk for
Potential
this
guest
championship.
appearances.
There's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, guest appearances coming up. So And be sure to check out all the other videos on this channel on Reasonable Wrestling fans. Check out the Wrestling Rundown for all of your weekly reviews. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.